Hey folks, good evening. Welcome to the Beckn community call for September. Super excited to have you guys here. Not sure if you have attended the previous ones or not. In case you are attending this for the first time, huge welcome to everybody. Thank you for coming to this call and supporting the community. And if you are a regular here, I'm sure you know what to expect and how we've been doing this. That being said, always open for feedback and anything you feel about this call, feel free to kind of jot it down. You might be seeing me here for the first time today. Hi, I'm Ansha. I am the global community lead for Beckn. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Me and Dheeraj are the primary caretakers of community here at Beckn, the smaller team. And feel free to reach out to either of us for any community related or in general Beckn related queries. With that, let's get started. Again, a huge welcome to all of you present here. Why do we do these calls? The idea is to make sure that the entire Beckn ecosystem, people who want to understand about Beckn, who are into the ecosystem, want to build with Beckn or are already building with Beckn, have a stronger sense of what is happening, a sense of togetherness, and making sure that you guys are always updated with the latest happenings, latest opportunities, anywhere you can contribute, any contributions that have been made, we want to highlight them. You can possibly use them for your own projects. And that is in general the idea of these calls. Before we get started, a quick note on housekeeping. All contributions that we have here in Beckn are open. So there is no ownerships or no royalty associated with it. Everything is Beckn, the protocol itself, and all the contribution made to the protocol are community owned. We encourage wide participation during this call. Feel free to jab in any thoughts or any comments or any questions you might have via the chat, via the reactions. It helps us create a safe and a more collaborative space. By the end of this call will be available as a recording on YouTube, and all the relevant links that I will be walking you guys through during the call will also be shared over Discord and will be available in the description of the YouTube video. Please allow us a day or two after the call for the recording to be available on YouTube. And as any community guidelines go, I would ask everybody to make sure that this is a safe space and we are respectful towards each and all of us and inclusive in nature. Since Beckn is inclusive by design, we follow inclusivity as one of our core principles. Moving on. What's the agenda for today? Last month, not a lot of things happened in tech side in general. A lot of huge announcements are in progress. You might be hearing about them in the next community call or the newsletter. We have some amazing announcements to make or some announcements to reshare by the community updates. That is, some exciting things have come up there, so stay tuned for that. Lastly, we'll open this forum for a open discussion and a Q&A. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have, or feel free to punch them in the chat box too. We can take those questions towards the end of this discussion. And then I'll briefly conclude this, and I think we should be able to wrap this call up by 6:45, not taking up a lot of your time. Moving on with tech, what is happening? This is something exciting. UEIX Solana hackathon is happening. The idea of this hackathon is to make sure that a public ledger like Solana and the aspects of Beckn protocol, what Beckn stands for, can come together and further the mission for unified energy interface. The mission that we're talking about largely with UEI is sustainability, climate action. How do we make our planet how we make our ways of living more sustainable? How does energy exchange become more efficient? Are there ways of generating more renewable energy, storing it, transmitting it? Are there any commercials attached to it? Figuring that out. What can be these new use cases for energy related problems or sustainability related problems that the Earth faces today? So that is the idea of the hackathon, to build products, prototypes, some proof of concepts, or showcasing experiences that people can have with a crossroads of Solana and UEI. Submissions, unfortunately, are now closed. So I'm sorry if anyone of you was interested and missed out on participating. But this is going to be huge. And this is probably one of our first hackathons, the earlier editions of hackathons that we are doing. This is just the beginning. In case you missed out on participating, don't worry. Much larger hackathons are coming soon. Awesome. And in case you are building with Beckn, you want to understand anything related to Beckn, feel free to join in our open office hours. They are held on Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. The timings are 3 p.m. EST for Tuesdays. And if you're somebody joining in from the Eastern Hemisphere of the world, this timing will suit you. Feel free to convert the timing for your time zones. It's 3 p.m. IST. And for Thursdays, it is 8:30 p.m. IST, which will suit the people living in Western Hemispheres. These calls happen regularly every week. So don't worry if you have missed out on the previous ones. These are recurring calls. And the idea is to get you up to speed with any technical query that you might have related to Beckn, understanding of the protocol itself, understanding any of our community assets, which is being Onyx, reference applications, or our experience center. Anything at all related to Beckn in the tech realm, feel free to join this call, and Fide's team will be available to help you out. Moving on. Like I said, this time around, there was not much to share around tech. However, exciting updates are lined up with the community section. So Ministry of Power becomes the second ministry in India to kind of recommend UEI protocol. The idea is also to understand, if you go to this article, which I'm sure also, for a quick understanding, all of the links and articles that I will be talking about in this call, my colleague will be sharing them in the chat box. All the links will be available here also. But don't worry, in case you miss them, they'll also be available in the post transcripts that we'll be sharing with you on Discord and YouTube. Okay, so coming back, Ministry of Power becomes the second ministry after Department of Science and Technology to kind of endorse UEI. And for data sharing and open communication, it addresses the completeness and the universality of the protocol. In another example, Akhil JP, a contributor to UEI, has highlighted the fact of how UEI is different from open charge point interface for energy transaction, especially EV charging. OCPI is predominantly used in European Union for the transaction of EV charging from different service charge point operators. Core differences being highlighted are UEI is more universal. UEI is not a domain specific or a sector agnostic protocol, while OCPI only allows for energy transactions that are related to EV charging. OCPI is a complicated multi-party sort of a transaction protocol, which causes a lot of friction in the process itself. UEI again is not a multi-party, but a single sort of a layered structure wherein all transactions happen very, very smoothly. OCPI does not provide any provision for reconciliation over the network. It happens towards the end of the economic cycles manually, again creating a lot of friction. Reconciliation and all the support in UEI is inbuilt by design. So these are the three major pointers of comparison between UEI and OCPI. However, please feel free to read this article for a more in-depth view. Moving on, everything that you will be hearing on from now on regarding UEI, it is now being housed under a separate entity called UEI Alliance. For those who are aware of FIDE, consider UEI to be a not-for-profit foundation supporting and uh, promoting the usage of UEI in the energy domain. That's what UEI is supposed to be doing. And soon all the things that we do regarding UEI will be done under the umbrella of UEI Alliance. I'm sure everybody here is kind of excited and understands about Namayatri model. Now that Namayatri model is coming to food delivery also, we recently launched an app called Vayu on ONDC, which is India's first zero commission food delivery app. Namayatri lookalike for food delivery. And at the moment, Vayu is partnering up with big buyer apps like Tata Neu and Ola to increase their user volumes. But currently, they are onboarding restaurants across Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Jaipur, Hyderabad, and have reached approximately a 3,000 mark in the number of restaurants that have been onboarded. And we are excited to see how this shapes up and how is the market treating entries like Vayu. It will be exciting to see how the big giants of the food delivery ecosystem react to this. So this is one of my favorite highlights for today. If you are in mood for a very, very casual, honest to heart conversation about everything from Aadhaar to UPI, how FASTag started, what is Beckn protocol, why Beckn, what role does FIDE play in all of this, from the man himself, Nandan. He recently was in a podcast with Nikhil Kamath, and very, very casual, heartfelt podcast. Do go out and listen. Just an hour of your time, but it'll give you such amazing insights on how the journey has been, how India's digital scenario has been transformed. Usually, we do see Nandan and Pramod and Sujit talk about such topics. They are more structured, sort of a panel discussions or talks. Here, you will see a more human side of Nandan and what inspired him to do things and how in general he approaches Beckn in general from a day-to-day life. And obviously you get to see the history of the entire digital story of India, the last decade, how we have reached where we have reached. So do check that out. Again, link will be shared with you. Beckn has again been making a lot of strides in the realm of agriculture. It is good to see that the community way of doing things that we are so proud of here at FIDE and Beckn and everything that we stand for is now being adopted by all the networks that we have. Open AgriNet, or ON for short, recently did their first meetup with seeing participation of around 30 organizations from 5 continents across the world to talk about the motion, the DPI-led motion, which is AI-enabled, on how can it transform the global agricultural and the food industry in general. And if you are somebody who is interested to work with Open Agri Net or in general want to contribute, there is a form available, the link to which will be again shared with you. Fill this form to start contributing or to try to start understanding what ON does and become a part of it. We've been, I think a couple of months back, earlier in 2024, the first pilot implementation of Beckn went live in Brazil. It was all over the news. There was a lot of hullabaloo about it. It is now moving on to its next phase, which is super exciting. The idea is the open network in Belém, which is in the Para region of Brazil. The idea is to help students gain real world skills and create an open network around this upskilling so that upskilling and learning opportunities and growth opportunities are available to everybody in an equal and an unbiased manner. In this new phase, the network is launching training programs in order to understand how advanced open protocol transactions happen, obviously powered by Beckn protocol and a decentralized cloud structure. This milestone again is a completely community-led initiatives by Jambu Technologies, a local technology player in Brazil, FIDE, Federal University of Para, WITS Innovation Lab, and People First. All of these collaborators have kind of made sure that this learning-based or skill-based open network is now available, and the new training programs are available for the students for Brazil. So we are rooting for the young minds of Brazil and happy to see the outcome of this. What does this lead to? Excited to see what these students learn from their training programs and where do they put it to use. And that kind of brings me to an end of updates that I had to share with you. This time around, it was a sweet and small update section from our end. Exciting things are in progress. Hold on tight. Please do join us for the next community call. And to make this community call process easier for everybody, next week, trust me, within October, we'll be launching the schedule for the next 6 months of our community calls. You can sign up for them in advance, block your calendar so that you don't miss it out. And in general, you have a calendar view of when are the next community calls happening. That is another change that we are going to make on our end. And that is pretty much it. I will now open the floor for any questions that you might have. You can raise a hand, put them in the chat box. We can take them one by one and close them out. Thank you so much.
I have a question.
Hey, hi,
I'm a,
please.
hey, hi. So I'm pretty new to Beckn. I just saw yesterday the video by the podcast, and I just got intrigued.
Mhm.
And I'm a pretty new user. So how do I go about this? Like, because I want to build something and likely to integrate it in the open network of Beckn. So how do I go about this? That's 0 to 1 journey.
Okay, 0 to 1. First, you join our Discord server. That is
Yeah,
where the
that is the
community
yeah.
resides. Please check out the GitHub documentation. I think I can share some specific links with you. I will
Mhm.
drop my email ID in the chat. Give me a quick email. I'll be able to send you all the relevant links that you want to get started with. Otherwise, there is a chance that because our GitHub server is undergoing some audits and some housekeeping, you might get lost in the sea of repositories. Let me
Yeah.
send you some key repositories that you have to first go through to understand what Beckn itself is. And
Mhm.
you can get started from there. That will be a 0 to 1, understanding what Beckn does, what is Beckn structurally, and how can you go about implementing it. Once you're done
Got it.
with
Got
that, the next step would be to imagine a use case, whatever you're building, where
it.
community can support you. You can reach out to us. You can ask questions on Discord. You can set up. You can come to, and in case you have any doubts, you can obviously join the tech office hours to understand any of the GitHub documentation that you might have had trouble with.
Got it. Yeah. Sounds good.
That's your 0 to 1 journey.
Yeah, hi, this is Vinod here. I have a specific question to you.
Mhm.
So this is an excellent presentation, and I got a quick view of the update.
Mhm.
See what is the model or that is there for this partnership which is being created? I mean, I would like to understand a little bit more. I mean, you did mention there's one example, right, where there's a partnership which FIDE did, right, along with the organization in Brazil, right? So
Yeah.
I would like to know a little bit more about how that works and what is the model, how do you actually come to that stage?
Okay. So the idea essentially is whenever FIDE is partnering up with any organization who wants to run a backend use case, wants to get attached to an existing open network, or wants to start anything backend related,
Right.
FIDE plays the role of the knowledge partner.
Okay.
FIDE in general does not get into execution. We are a very, very small team. Consider FIDE as the think tank. However, we do help in, you might have read about the other partners, which was People First, University of Para, and all of these. FIDE does help in making relevant connections happen that kind of can get it from a thinking mode to an execution mode for the project. That is
Right.
where FIDE helps in. And for the Jambu Technologies was somebody that we started working with initially, and then they roped in University of Para by their local support.
Got it. Got it. So I think we have a similar idea which we wanted to brainstorm. So I think that's the reason why we wanted to connect with the team. So hopefully we kind of discuss that and then arrive at a specific way of doing it. So it's more about doing a software delivery, open source software delivery
Mhm.
on the Beckn protocol.
Nice.
So
Interesting.
probably the idea is more like saying, if you want to have security assurance services, and we do have few open source projects which we have curated, like
Mhm.
one of them is Be Secure.
Mhm.
And we would like to get a sense of how, we could collaborate on, actually getting some of these elements driving through, the backend. We came with an approach and we want to get that validated. And definitely, I think that's where FIDE would definitely help us, is what we
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. I think we have a call scheduled already.
Yes, yes, exactly.
We
So
can
looking
definitely.
forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. And there are many ways in which we collaborate and FIDE provides support, right? Not in just terms of facilitating connections, it is also in a form of a much larger community support. Let's say, especially this comes in very handy for smaller players, where resources are a challenge. You can house your projects inside of Beckn Open Collective, and we can start facilitating or getting help or start broadcasting it to a larger community so that volunteers come on board and start helping on to building the project or the product. That
Got
is
it.
also one of the ways in which the community helps, and it is open for anybody. This is my reach out to everybody in the call. If you do not need to reach out to backend team, let's say me, Dheeraj, or anybody to use the community. If you want any collaboration, if you have any request, feel free to shoot it to the community directly. Thanks, Vinod.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Hi Ansha, good evening. This is Bhargava.
Hi, Bharat.
Last week there was the India Advantage Summit held in Bangalore. I was a delegate there, and I heard the presentation from Sujit, and also I spoke to the Beacon representative there, Dheeraj Shetty.
Yeah.
So he was talking about TSPs, and right now I think there is not much information in open space, like on Google, where we can learn backend and all that. So I just wanted to explore how we can, as a team, become TSP, and where to learn and how to become implementation partners.
Okay. So again, the 0 to 1 journey remains the same for you, wherein you first have to understand what the protocol is, what is the structure of the protocol, understanding some of the basic implementations that you have. All the content, I can share it with you in a structured manner. If you can shoot me a quick email, that wouldn't be a problem. That is your 0 to 1 journey. And then if you want to become a TSP for live networks like ONDC, there is a registration form available on the ONDC website. You just go, you sign up. There are 3, 4 roles that you can play. You can choose TSP and get started with that. Then ONDC team can kind of help and make you, onboard you. But that is only ONDC specific. ONDC has their own documentation because ONDC runs on a version of Beckn protocol. However, if you want to become a TSP in general, not just for ONDC, but all other global missions that we have, understanding of Beckn in itself is required. We can also help you connect with some other TSPs to kind of understand their journeys, if that will help you out.
Sure, I will send the email.
Awesome. Thank you. Roshan has a question on the chat. I'll quickly take it up. Will Beckn be any helpful in building a community tool like Discord? Just curious. Beckn is not a communication protocol, so I'm not sure how the entirety of the structure cannot be based on Beckn. You can use some of the elements. For using Beckn, Beckn is a transaction protocol, okay? And the entire transaction lifecycle can be imagined in a DOF framework, which is discovery, order, fulfillment, and post-fulfillment flows. As long as the problem statement fits into these categories or this life cycle flow, Beckn can be used. However, if you're wanting to build a decentralized e-commerce of sorts, I will recommend checking out DSNP protocol in fairly early stages, but do check it out. And it is you can also search for Project Liberty. It is housed, it has its origins in the US fairly early, but the idea is to build a decentralized social media and build social commerce on top of it. Any other questions, folks? Okay, I don't think so. I think it's time that we quickly wrap up. So I will quickly wrap up and summarize in 2 minutes. Like I've mentioned multiple times, all the resources, all the relevant links are available right now in the chat box. In case you have missed it, and in case you miss it, don't worry. The recording will be available in Discord, in YouTube, and relevant links will be shared via the newsletter. So hang on to that. And what we discussed today, Ministry of Power in India has now started endorsing UEI. India's first zero commission food delivery app goes live with ONDC. Open AgriNet is building global agricultural grids, and to enable this, they kind of started with a meetup of 30 organizations all across the world. Brazil, Rede Belém Aberta network launches new phase with their training programs, upskilling students, helping them understand technologies like Beckn and open protocols more, so that these students can go out and start building more use cases of open networks. And last but not the least, the Energy X Solana, which is our UEI X Solana hackathon, is live now, and amazing prizes are lined up for people who win. Cash prizes of about 5K. All winners will get a contributor status in the super team community for Solana, and we are collaborating with super team to host this hackathon. And that's it. It's a wrap. Thank you everybody for joining in. I hope we see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Have a very, very good evening.